Hello, friends. On the 4th anniversary of the Z invasion, the United Kingdom's Ministry of Defense and the Royal Air Force launched a training program for experienced Ukrainian military pilots to qualify them as flight instructors on Western helicopters. This is the first time that Great Britain has provided rotary wing instructor training for Ukraine, expanding the successful fixed-wing instructor program under Operation Interflex. The course, which will be conducted at an undisclosed RAF airbase in central England, will provide the best Ukrainian helicopter pilots with the pedagogical and technical skills necessary to independently train future generations of Western-type helicopter pilots within their country, reducing Ukraine's dependence on allied countries' programs and strengthening their army aviation units. This apparently is associated with the upcoming transfer of Sea King helicopters and up to 10 Puma HC-2S by the United Kingdom, which could be joined by German Naval Sea Lynx helicopters and Australian Tiger attack helicopters, if all goes well in the next few months. One of the main missions currently carried out by Army aviation helicopters is the interception of Shahed attack drones, as demonstrated by the crew of an Mi-8 HIB helicopter, who destroyed 8 of Ivan's vultures from the large-scale attack by the Horde early on February 26th. Operating under the guidance of the Air Defense Network control operators, the pilots of these aircraft followed interception routes at different altitudes, thanks to which the side gunners had the opportunity to shoot down the raiders. Watching this mission, it's not hard to understand why some aircraft have already accumulated more than 100 shootdowns. Ivan hates these helicopters for their effectiveness, so he's targeting them by mounting missiles on his attack vultures. Speaking of predators, a Ukrainian mosquito is on the hunt and begins to stalk a position where it suspects some invaders are hiding. When they hear it flying nearby, they stay well hidden in the ruins. So the defender, realizing the situation, decides to land to avoid making more noise. The ambush works because one of the Z tourists, not hearing the mosquitoes buzzing, decides to come out, not realizing that it was just a few meters away, waiting for him to move a bit further so he couldn't hide again. When it takes off again, Ivan doesn't realize it's behind him until it's already too late. From another angle, you can clearly see how the ambush works.
Pada boom, motherfucker.
The ambush tactic also works against motorized orcs, like this pair moving quickly along a road near Pokrovsk, where a drone was enjoying the sun. But when he sees Ivan pass by, he knows it's time to get to work. Demilitarizing the two invaders with a single surgical strike. The drone operators from the 82nd Air Assault Brigade send their fiber optic guided drones into a shed where 3 orcs are hiding. So they proceed to quickly clear out the invading vermin, using a swarm that works in a coordinated way to deal with all the visitors. This team of defenders clearly enjoys their work, since they took the time to include some memes to make the sequence more interactive. It's so nice when you wake up day after day looking forward to going to work. In this footage, we see a funeral convoy for a Russian 2S-5 Gitsint-S self-propelled howitzer, which was severely damaged during the fighting on the Donbass front. It can be seen that a drone or an artillery strike gave it a pretty charred look and extensive structural damage, which will make it take some time to return to service, although it will probably end up as a source of spare parts for other similar units that are still in service. The 2S-5 Gitsint-S is a Soviet cannon, 152 millimeters, with a range of 28 kilometers and capable of firing up to 6 rounds per minute. The 3rd Assault Brigade confirmed on February 26th the successful execution of Operation Samurai, a sophisticated assault raid carried out by 3 ground kamikaze robots loaded with explosives, sent to neutralize 3 fortified positions of the invaders. During the confrontation, the illegal tourists tried to neutralize the Ukrainian robotic systems advancing toward them, using attack drones, airdropped munitions, and a sustained artillery bombardment. However, despite the strong defensive response, two of the advanced ground robots managed to keep advancing, successfully maneuvering through the gray zone at the front. Where they finally reached the rear, where they delivered their explosive payloads directly onto designated targets, which apparently were a command post and a fortified Russian position. The operation was carried out by operators from the NS-13 unit of the brigade, which specializes in the use of unmanned ground vehicles, becoming one of the most innovative and battle-tested robotic warfare formations in the armed forces of Ukraine. Established in September 2025, NS-13 has quickly evolved from its original support roles, which included logistics, casualty evacuation, and reconnaissance, to become an assault unit capable of attacking the frontline positions of the Horde. As in this case, where one of its drones surprises a group of invaders under a bridge, turning the meeting into a rather abrupt farewell for the tourists. Operation Samurai represents the next stage of evolution in the way we protect our soldiers while inflicting maximum damage on the occupier, a spokesperson for the brigade stated. When the enemy floods the battlefield with artillery fire and drones, we simply send machines that have no fear, that do not bleed, and that do not retreat. This is the new reality of war, and Ukraine is writing the rules. On the logistics front, the Government of Canada announced a new military assistance package worth $2 billion for the fiscal year 2026-2027. And, as a central element, it includes the transfer of 66 new General Dynamics Land Systems LAV-6 Bison armored personnel carriers and 383 Rochelle Senator armored vehicles. Over 2,000 have already been delivered, and which is highly valued for its mechanical reliability, great mobility, and adaptability in high-threat environments. The new versions will be an improved model built on a Ford 550 chassis that was developed based on lessons learned from the war. This provides better drone protection and increased mechanical reliability. In addition, Canada has extended its financial contribution and technical participation in Operation Unifier until 2029, which trains Ukrainian personnel in different ground and air combat specialties. The LAV-6 is the fourth generation of Canadian light armored vehicles, developed by General Dynamics Land Systems, and it is based on the LAB-3 platform, to which significant improvements were added, derived from the Canadian Army's combat experience in Afghanistan. And these focus on better protection, greater mobility, an improved weapons system, and updated electronic capability. The LAB-6, or Armored Combat Support Vehicle, is used for transporting troops and cargo, medical evacuation, command posts, engineer vehicles, and as a platform for electronic warfare systems. Finally, the defenders know very well why they must keep fighting, since it would be the worst horror for these guys to have to grow up under the shadow of Ruskamir instead of living in a free country fully integrated with Europe. Meanwhile, they express their patriotism by singing the Ukrainian national anthem. If you want to see additional content about the war in Ukraine, I invite you to visit our 2 new channels, where we present information about the war in a different format. Don't forget to check them out. Remember to visit our Patreon where for just $1 you'll have access to a large number of uncensored videos and documentaries. Don't forget to leave your like and subscribe to the channel.